It's the Gamble on Ginter podcast, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the NCAA Randomizer. Week 4. Last week was a big week for us. We went 8-2 combined. I had a 5-0 week. We were able to defeat our producer, Daniel Amano.
For the first time this year.
And improving our records to over 500 each. We are both at 8-7 for the season, and we're looking to add on to it and completely squash our producer. So if you're not familiar, this game is very simple. He sends us 5 games at random in college football. We do our research, and we get to talk about them. We have one pick in each game that we decide based on the research that we do. So I'll get started since I had the 5-0 week, and I'm going to talk about the LSU-Mississippi State game. Now, this game's going to be in Starkville, and they're going to be hyped. They are home doggies with a great quarterback in Will Rogers at the helm. Let me tell you why this is the trap spread of the week, and this is why I'm going LSU minus 2.5. First of all, this is a great number. Again, LSU seems to be the more balanced team. Again, it's a Mike Leach offense, so there's a lot of throwing the ball within Mississippi State. I think LSU is equipped to handle a one-dimensional offense like Mississippi State, even on the road like this game. I think right now there's a lot of people on the public line that are going after the Bulldogs. I think you can sit back and wait as a bettor and get a better number for LSU, but 2.5 is a great number as well. You get the field goal insurance that you need for this particular game. I'm a big fan of their quarterback. I can't think of his name right now, but he is a lefty. Big fan of lefty quarterbacks in NCAA football. Give me the Tigers minus 2.5.
Very nice. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the week. I have Texas Tech. Great Big 12 matchup. Texas Tech has started off 3-0. However, in their first 2 of their first 3 games, they've been down by double digits heading into the second half. So with that being said, I'm going to take Texas minus 6 in the first half of this game. I think Texas Tech, they do score a lot of points. They haven't faced it was Houston and FIU that they were down to double digits to. Texas has a much better defense. Texas has a much better offense. Texas minus 6 for the first half of this game.
Okay, so the next game I have is Missouri and Boston College. A very, very weird matchup between the ACC and the SEC. I'm going to put my meteorology hat on. It's expected to rain in Chestnut Hill for this matchup. And really, Boston College really has not been tested this season. They've played the likes of Colgate, Temple, not very good teams where you can get a really good read on them. Missouri struggled with Kentucky. Both teams are pretty pass heavy. We do know about Boston College's great receiver, Zay Flowers. But I think the weather is going to impact this game. They're going to have to focus on the run game, which it's not neither team's strength. Missouri can run the ball a little bit, but it's neither of these teams' strengths or what they want to do. I'm going to take the under 58 in this game, and I'm going to base it on some bad weather in a 12 o'clock matchup.
Nice. I'm going to follow along with that with another under. I have the Michigan State and Nebraska game. Nebraska, they've been good, better than they have been the last couple of years to start this season. Michigan State, same boat as Nebraska. Michigan State just blew out Miami. I don't know. I'm not going to read too much into that. Miami looks absolutely terrible. They have a talented bunch. They can't play together. Their team's poorly coached. So with that being said, I'm just going to take under 54 in this game at minus 130 because I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense. I think both defenses are going to really be the key factors in this game.
Nice. I got a good SEC matchup for my next game, and you're going to see an SEC theme with a lot of my games. As you've seen already, there's been 3 SEC matchups involved. But we've got Texas A&M and Arkansas. So this may be the matchup of the week as far as rankings are concerned. Arkansas has a big win this season. They won against Texas. Texas A&M has not looked overly impressive. With that being said, Texas A&M is going to win this game, and they are going to cover the 4.5-point spread. The one stat I couldn't believe when I was looking at this year is so far Texas A&M is averaging as a defense giving up 5.7 points per game. Wow. I think there's going to be a little bit of regression there, but I don't think enough to where Texas A&M is going to have any trouble scoring. Isaiah Spiller, their very talented running back, will be able to run the ball very successfully against this team. I feel like they win by a touchdown or more.
Nice. I got another Big 12 matchup in my next game. I've got the West Virginia-Oklahoma game. Another team that's really started off slow out of the gate. Spencer Rattler for Oklahoma has probably been the perennial thought of number 1 overall pick this upcoming season. He has not played like it so far. He only has 3 touchdowns and has as many interceptions as touchdowns as well. West Virginia's defense is always good. Oklahoma has beaten their last 2 teams, Tulane and Nebraska, by a total of 13 points. Not very good. I think they come out and absolutely dominate this Big 12 matchup. The spread is pretty heavy, and I'm going to ride with all the points. Minus 16.5 for Oklahoma this game.
Nice. Next game may end up in a fight in my own home, but it's the Rutgers versus Michigan game. A very weird 3:30 start for a Michigan game. You usually see them at 12 p.m. or late at night like you did last week. But I'm going to take Rutgers plus 20.5. I think it's a lot of points to be putting to a team that honestly isn't the same pushover that they have been for the last 10 years. I mean, Rutgers has been terrible. They still necessarily haven't been tested, but their defense looks really good. And I'm a big believer that defense carries over. 20 points is a lot. So would I think about buying it up to maybe a 21.5 play? Yes, but I think the 20 is going to be plenty. It's going to be a closer game than people think. I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown game.
Nice. I'm going to follow along with your same, the odd game time start. I have the UCLA Stanford game that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That game's being played out in California. Again, another 3 o'clock. Weird start for a Pac-12 game. Both teams, I think UCLA really came out hot when they beat LSU. They surprised a lot of people week 1, beating LSU. They lost last week. Little tough. Stanford's been putting up a lot of points. I'm gonna ride with the hot hand. It's Pac-12. No defense has ever played in these games. Going over 57.5 doesn't seem like a lot of points. That's at minus 130. It's pretty good odds.
Last game that I have is a Big 12 matchup between Kansas State and Oklahoma State. And I'm not going to read into this one too much. I think this is going to be a little bit of a square pick. And I'm not a huge fan, especially for college football and looking into injuries, because I believe especially at the quarterback, wide receiver, any of those positions, your backups, it's not as much of a drop-off, let's say, as it is in professional football. Having said that, Skylar Thompson, the quarterback for Kansas State, is out. Oklahoma State has questionable tags on all 4 of their starting receivers. I think this game goes under 46.5. Both teams are really, really good defenses. And again, Oklahoma State can be locked down. They locked down a really, really good Boise State team to 0 points in the second half in Boise State. I think at home, it's the spread is a little bit, 5.5. I'm not touching on either side because both defenses have looked fantastic this season, but I think they cover the under here. Again, a little bit more of a square pick than I usually have, but I don't know how these teams are going to generate offenses against these defenses.
Nice. I like that pick a lot. My last game is going to be in the Notre Dame-Wisconsin game. Another game that I think is going to be one of the best of the weekend.
Probably the best one. This one's going to be at Soldier Field.
Yeah, this one's good. It's 12 versus 18, if I'm not mistaken, and Notre Dame is the higher-seeded team. Notre Dame is actually the underdogs by 6.5 points. So what I've done is I'm a huge numbers guy. Pete knows this. I don't like that plus 6.5 number. I don't know why Notre Dame is such a huge underdog in this game. I'm going to buy up a full point to plus 7.5. Give us that little touchdown cushion. And that's still at minus 135. I'm going to take Notre Dame in this game. A touchdown's a lot. They haven't lost a lot of games in the last couple of years. Their offense hasn't looked like it's really slowed down without Ian Book. Plus 7.5, Notre Dame.
If you guys enjoyed our picks that we have here on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe. If you do not follow us, Gamble on Ginter is where you find us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is going to be where you want to follow us because we have daily content in the MLB, NFL, and NCAA. You will see a breakdown of these picks that will be put out, and obviously we're going to be putting them out as we go along. Also, we have on Saturday a really big UFC card, which Ryan's going to take over the account, and you'll get to interact with the show on Twitter during those fights, get our thoughts, get Ryan's thoughts as the UFC guys. But thank you for joining us. Good luck in whatever you bet, and have a great night.